Rule of engagement.
Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. The really vibrant streets of Mexico City, usually buzzing, right? Culture, tourism.
Yeah.
But suddenly there's this different sound protest chants.
Yeah.
Today, we're really unpacking recent events there. We've got some fascinating sources that shed light on, well, what kicked off these powerful demonstrations. And the mission for you, listening in, is to get a nuanced picture of what happened and the bigger questions, sometimes surprising ones that pop up about migration and national identity globally.
Right.
Basically, hundreds of people marching against the influx of foreigners, especially Americans.
And what's really telling, I think, is the specific anger behind it all. The sources, they make it clear this wasn't just some vague unhappiness.
No.
They point directly at foreigners, and yeah, particularly Americans, for jacking up rents. It's pushing locals, longtime residents, out of popular spots like Roma and Condesa.
Right, into poorer areas.
Exactly. And there was also this clear complaint about newcomers not learning Spanish, a feeling of cultural disrespect, perhaps.
You can almost feel that simmering resentment, can't you?
Yeah.
The slogans themselves were, well, pretty blunt.
Yeah, like what?
Things like Gringo Go Home,
Right.
Mexico for Mexicans, and even direct calls to pay taxes, learn Spanish, respect my culture, just echoing through the streets. And what started peacefully, well, it didn't stay that way.
Yeah.
Our sources talk about an escalation. Masked protesters, smashing shop windows, damaging restaurants, even looting some high-end places.
Wow, so it turned violent.
It definitely became volatile, yeah.
And, beyond just the street-level events, this kind of deep dive often shows how these incidents reflect much, much bigger things. Global migration stuff.
Absolutely.
What's really striking in the source material is this parallel it draws. It highlights what it sees as a real irony.
Go on.
Well, it points out how certain figures or parties in the U.S. often get labeled, heartless or racist for their immigration stances.
Sure, that happened.
But then these Mexican protesters were, according to the source, pretty open and unapologetic in voicing similar feelings, asking foreigners, specifically Americans, to leave their country.
That really does make you stop and think about perception, doesn't it? Is it the policy itself, or I don't know who's doing it, that changes how it's seen?
Precisely.
And this connects to a really tough question raised in the material. Where's the sort of humanitarian concern for Americans being asked to leave Mexico, especially from voices who strongly defend immigrants, say, in the U.S.? It kind of pushes you to wonder if compassion is applied universally or if it's sometimes a bit more selective based on geography?
It's a challenging point, and it leads right into this really fundamental question that these events force us to think about. If asking immigrants to leave a country isn't inherently wrong in one context, well, why does it seem to generate such a different, often more negative reaction when America does something similar?
Yeah.
It really forces a look inward, maybe at our own assumptions or biases.
And that's a key point the sources are making.
Yeah.
It also brings up this perceived contradiction, right? On one side, you see advocacy against things like ICE protests supporting Mexican immigrants in the U.S. But then simultaneously, these really strong demands for Americans to get out of Mexico. And the sources make a point of noting that Americans usually go there legally.
That legality aspect adds another layer, definitely. It's a stark contrast highlighted by the sources.
It is.
It really makes you question the logic or maybe the emotional currents driving how different countries, different communities feel about borders and who belongs where. It's certainly not black and white.
No, definitely not. It's a lot to chew on, isn't it? These are genuinely complex issues the sources themselves grapple with, kind of pushing all of us to think more critically about all these different viewpoints on borders and migration. So thinking about all this, the events, the contradictions we've unpacked, what does this whole situation maybe reveal about the tricky, often paradoxical nature of immigration policies and national feelings? Really, no matter which country you're looking at, it gives you something to think about.